Matthew.
Yeah.
Again, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Keron, for having me here.
Me and you are friends from way back,
Yeah,
so
way
I'm going
back.
to let you introduce yourself so that listeners can understand. Then I'll start the conversation.
My name is Atuheire Matthew. I don't know what to say.
You are a human being.
I'm a human being. Okay, yeah. You want me to introduce myself in terms of?
Okay, you can just tell me about you, who you are. I don't want to start. Sorry. I don't want to start the conversation from just the drugs and the addictions and the whole purpose. Yeah, I need people to first know that first of all you're a human being, like you're a father, like me. Yeah? Like you're a father. You have this going on in your life. You've done your school. You have business. Like any of us. Like you have all this stuff going on.
Okay,
like,
that's nice. Yeah. So I'm Atuheire Matthew. I am a young, energetic man with a bright future ahead of me. I am a father of an 8-year-old son. He's called Liam Klaus Mevaze. Very brilliant child. I do work with my dad. He works with NEMA and also Waste Management Project as a field coordinator. That's what I've been doing in this time. And I got done with my education eventually. I had the ups and downs, but eventually I managed to overcome and get done with it.
Now, as you come to the podcast, we have been talking. I got to know about you being in a mental hospital from a friend of mine. From a friend we share, from Herbert. So whenever we were hanging out with Herbert, he kept telling me that, I need to go see Matthew. I need to go see Matthew. So I was like, oh shit, I've just been there. I saw a friend of mine. I have quite a number of friends that side. So I kept telling him, man, you have to go, Like it's important that you go see your friend. So that, I want to understand what's your story. And we can just go back to like how you start.
My story.
Do you feel good about sharing this?
Yes, I'm very, very good because no matter how far down myself has gone, this experience that I've been through can benefit others. And I believe that is a process of recovery. So I strongly believe in that. And I want to share my story. And my story started just in 2018. I was diagnosed with psychotic depression because I had failed to complete my degree at Mark Keron University. I was doing a bachelor in library and information science. So in 2016, I had multiple retakes, So by all this time, I was using substances. I was smoking weed. I was drinking alcohol. I was also doing Shisha by that time. And here's the funny thing is that at first I used to hate people who smoke Shisha. But I remember there was someone who I used to know in my life who actually taught me this Shisha thing. And I even surpassed her level.
You became a businessman.
First relax, I'll get there as well.
True.
But I surpassed that level. Now I used to be the one to call her. We go and meet. So this thing, I didn't know it would have a big impact on my life. Because it was the in thing, and this was when life was still normal. Without the COVID thing and all that. So I would go to Casablanca, Kololo.
I remember Casa was really a thing,
Casa was my place. I used to go there at lunchtime every day. And I would smoke. I would go there, have my 3 beers. Then
3 was?
Just 3 beers.
Okay.
Then I smoke my shot, then I go home. So then slowly by slowly I started to get to know people there. Slowly by slowly. So I found myself going up. There's an up route there. So I found some friends, some people who I got into character with. And then I learned another very, very bad habit, which was chewing mirror. This gut.
Chewing gut, yes.
So I started slowly. I started slowly.
You think these are bad habits? But we'll get into that. Okay.
I started, this is not even different a bad habit because it has a very, very negative perception.
Yeah.
But for you, when you're doing it, you don't care.
Yeah.
You know, you're there, you're chewing. I had times when by lunchtime I'd always be there chewing.
It's like a calling.
Yeah.
It's
an addiction. You have to show up and chew. And you know, I was so young, and I was in a circle of people, friends. Guys had made it in life. You get. So I also wanted to show that what. I also want to show I'm somebody. So I found myself spending beyond my means just to show my presence.
To keep up with the addiction.
Yeah, to keep up with the addiction. Yeah, I started slowly, but it became worse. It got worse.
So now you have mentioned alcohol, weed, shisha, now gut.
Gut, yes.
You are using all these things all the time?
I was using these things this whole time. Because I remember I would chew like from 1 to 5. I actually had one of my exes, she didn't like it at all. Because there's a time, she used to ask me, what do you always go behind there to do? And then boom, she one time bumped into me with this whole, you know, your mouth, your jaws are all here with that whole thing here. So I could tell it affected her, but me, I didn't care. You get. So eventually I quit that habit because of COVID.
Let's before we go into the quitting, how was the experience like though? Like what kept you going back to the habits? How do they grow into habits from just a guy that goes? Why did you start first of all?
Like I said,
in your perspective,
it was out of
peer pressure.
Yeah. You know, you're just chilling there. You're a young teenager. You're a young man. Then guys just come around you to tap shisha. You get. So eventually you find yourself with these people.
Yeah.
You start familiarizing with them.
They become you're sharing a habit.
So you start buying the things for them. So you said it. Then I realized this thing is actually nice because when you're smoking shisha, it's really, really good. But then I didn't know it would have those very, very bad side effects to my life. So, like I said, but thank God to COVID, I stopped quitting. I had very bad withdrawal symptoms. I was actually hospitalized for 1 week at a big clinic. Yeah. And this whole time, my mom doesn't know that I'm using anything.
How are you hospitalized? Wait, for you, all this just started in 2018? No, there's no like trace from school.
No, actually, when I joined university, 2012, 2013, we used to go to Club 5.
Yeah, I know Club in Mook, yeah?
Yeah, in Mook. Yeah. So we used to drink beers, 3,500. Then on Fridays, they would have that special offer of 3K. So we used to drink beers and then play pool. Then as time went, we learned about sundowners. Now, sundowners bar. That is where everything went crazy. We were in campus. After school, you have nothing to do. You just go to the bar. So I started being at that bar from Monday to Sunday.
And how do you, because also this comes at an expense, like how do you then keep up with the money to spend from school, and then by the time something turns into a habit, and then it becomes an addiction, you can afford it.
Yes.
How does that then work out?
During that time, I was helping my sister. I used to go and pick up my nephew from Kampala parents. So every lunchtime, my sister would, she works at Toyota.
So she would facilitate that.
That for me.
Sense,
and I would be able to afford. And also the fact that I had, my mom was there. Yeah, they give you money for
school and stuff.
Pocket money. Then you have your friends that you be with. So what we always used to do, everyone
be collective.
Be collective. We had our corner. We gang up 50,000, everyone 50K, and we buy a bottle. And those days life was a bit affordable. And
You could ball on 50,000.
You ball on 50K, literally. But when it's a collective thing, and Shisha was 10,000 then.
So you did not use any Class A substances?
By that time, I wasn't using any other substance that I'll reveal to you later.
Okay.
I was just smoking Shisha,
marijuana,
smoking weed. We even had places we call Jua, Stoners Avenue, just the above. Would walk out, go
trap houses and
we'd go out, smoke, then come back, and then have a nice blast. Like, that was my lifestyle.
When did you realize, what moment in your life do you realize that now you are addicted? Did you ever realize? Before the hospital, did you ever realize that?
Yes, I was very
now
addicted.
I'm just going back to this, even though I do not like it. I am out of power, and I don't have control anymore.
Yes.
When do you realize this?
I just realized that recently, like 4 months back.
Okay.
When I started using pills, which are known as ecstasy or MDMA.
Yeah.
Now,
what's MDMA?
MDMA is it's a drug.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably find out after.
Yeah, it's a drug that causes euphoria to the dopamine part of the brain, and also it increases the heart rate. Like, it gives you that sexual urge as well. You can go rounds and rounds. But now the thing about a pill, with time, as it wears it, because it lasts for 3 to 6 hours. But with time, it comes down just like any other drug.
Yeah.
So you find yourself having to buy another one. And when it comes back, you go back to your normal self, where you go back, you find yourself when you're depressed. And
but could you now understand who your normal self is from? Did you know that type of difference?
No, you can't. You're detached from reality.
You're
completely. You're in illusions. You're hallucinating. You're in a fantasy world. And obviously, I was using this with other people.
Yeah.
So, you would be in the bar for 3 days, and you would find yourself just a nuisance, if I may say. So nuisance. So you're just up and down. You're energetic. You're just in a vibe, if I may say.
Did you ever get an episode that's turned into a really bad trip? Can you explain it?
Yeah, I had an episode.
Yeah.
When I used it once, and it wasn't working. So I chopped a wire. I started to become aggressive. I called my plug and I told him, man,
what's up?
What's this stuff you're giving me, man? This is some messed up shit. How can you give me this? Because you'd even find you'd vomit the stuff immediately after taking it. So it was a very bad episode for me. But I managed to. I just, when you've given up in life, and you don't have goals, you don't have a vision. Your whole life, you've known, because you've been in that party life, you have no ambition at all. You end up using these drugs.
Now, what pulls you? Okay, I do understand that there's the party life and stuff, but usually all these are just escapes, yeah?
Yes.
I frankly, most of the times I learned how to what I call functional addictive to cannabis, to me, was the time I was on the street. So, because I was running away from all this pain and all this reality, I had to really get hooked. But yeah, that was that. I had personal issues. My family had fallen apart. I'd lost a job, I think. My business was down. It was really all bad, yeah? So all that could lead to that. Now, so for you in your life...
Was this the time when you were doing that Makita?
Yeah. The time I leave that... Actually, not really that time. So the time I leave that, Hills goes, comes back, takes my child. Then I go into some battle with that in the court. So I'm dealing with all this. My family is trying to help and stuff like that. Then I settle all that at some point. So that gets me to the hook. What I really did survive was... the gut, because the time I was on the street, people used to chew gut a lot. Yeah. But because most of the guys that chewed gut could drink a lot of alcohol, and I don't know how blessed or lucky I got with life that I do not like alcohol. Also, the episodes I've had with alcohol have been really bad for me. So I didn't like get hooked. But there was all that, yeah? There were all these challenges.
Yeah.
So to you, what were you dealing with that then drove you to like the party life? Because you don't just go to the bar because you can't go to the bar, yeah?
Now, what drove me that is the fact that, like I said, I was diagnosed with a psychotic depression. I failed to finish, obviously, my degree in time. And I found happiness in using these drugs because it would temporary happiness, temporary forever, you know. Mm-hmm. You're all there. People don't know what's going on inside you. You get you, but the party helps you to, you know, to cool off the steam. Yeah. So I started using these drugs as a substitute to help me overcome my depression. But
when they diagnosed you, did family get to know that you are diagnosed?
Yes, they did. I went to Entebbe Lakeview Hospital. I saw Professor Musisi Segane, who is actually at mental health. He's the number one. He's like the founder of it. So he's one of the biggest mental health people who can help you. Yeah. So I was put on fluvoxetine, 2.0 milligrams, and ozadepine. So this fluvoxetine is an antidepressant. Yeah. It helps you to, you know, to sort of get your life back. Like you feel like that kind of depression as if has gone off for a minute. Then the ozadepine is for just, you know, getting a rest. When you sleep well. You don't have nightmares or anything like that. Now, here's what happened. I was on my medication. And I was doing very good in life, you know. I was happy. I put on weight. Then suddenly I relapsed.
We always relapse, you know.
Yeah. I relapsed so badly, and I was going through a lot of stuff. Then I have a weakness for women, I know. So I had a few relationship challenges. I messed up my relationships because my drugs were my priority. And you know, that life, you're short-sighted. You don't look into the future.
Were you receiving love? Genuine love from people?
It was very genuine. Very genuine.
In that time, did you have friends that could tell you, like, yo, man, like, this is maybe getting out of hand, having these conversations about it?
Yeah, I had friends who had that, who would tell me. But, you know, we had this saying, running with the wave, get you killed quick. You know, who were like, wanted to be like future Hendrix, you know, just a vibe, with that wave. It was just a wave, so we didn't mind this.
Tenet, you can pass here and use this workspace.
We didn't mind that whole. I didn't have any mind with. I didn't have any problem with share. Like my friends didn't tell me. They did, but I would, you know, life. Someone tells you this and you don't listen. You just ignore. So when I relapsed, I was off my medication. So what did I do? I resorted to heavy drinking. Meanwhile, no one knows what I'm going through. Not even my mom.
Why didn't you have anyone to talk to? Do you believe you have real friends?
I have real friends actually, but I find myself, I was isolating myself, you know. I had started this thing of comparing myself to others. Yeah. You know, when you fail to reach your goals. Yeah, so you find your friends, you know, they are progressed in life, they are married, and they are living a good life. And this thing used to affect me so badly, you know, because, you know, when you're depressed, you're stuck in the past. I was stuck in my past for a very long time. Yeah. Because I was depressed like for 5 years, from 2018, when I was diagnosed, up to 2002. Yeah, when I eventually managed to break the barrier.
2022?
Yes.
When did you realize, and how did you get to a point where you said, my life now needs a turning point?
Actually, it wasn't me who realized that. Okay. Because I remember, because I was using these pills, I started to also learn cocaine. So when I started using cocaine, you know, we call it Gucci. Now that drug, you just be awake like the whole day you're awake, you're like a zombie.
Yeah.
You're just drinking, you don't want to eat
can
food.
catch up with the next day.
Yeah, you're just on a vibe. So I started to do things which were not me, and this needed a family intervention. I stopped. My productivity at work.
Do you
was so
think
low.
using the drugs was the problem, or the fact that you had not dealt with whatever issues had caused your depression? Because you see, you see how you had a standard of, I just go to the bar, take 3 beers.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's controllable. If you do not, I know friends of mine. Of course, excessive use of anything comes bad. Yeah.
Yes.
So before people get really hooked and taken up, they forget to deal with all these other issues that are happening. And you're a father. So I can only imagine the pain that comes with just being a young father and not like a stable family. It's broken, all that stuff, yeah? So how was therapy for you? Was it dealing with that, or dealing with the fact that now you're hooked to these drugs, or you used cocaine, or you've been smoking marijuana, or all that stuff?
For me, therapy. Yeah. Because let me just rush you ahead. Okay. I was taken to Butabika Hospital on 28th August. Yeah. And of course, when I was there, they tricked me into going there. Okay. My brother called me one time to Levels on 27th, and he told me he wanted to see me, to have to like catch a vibe with me. So he calls me. We go to Levels, celebrating one of my friend's birthdays. So we're drinking tequila, doing this. Meanwhile, he's taking pictures of me and he's sending them to my mom. So as I was leaving, as he told me, okay, he's leaving, so we go to to escort him to the door, to the car, and he gives me some extra money. So in my head, I was already high. I'd popped a pill. So I go to the car. As I reach the car, he told me, Matthew, do you know these people behind you? So I turn behind and I see a policeman of home and a security guard. So obviously I'm high, so I greet them. I say hi to them. So, they just majestically held me like this.
Like you're a criminal?
Yeah, like I'm a criminal. And the border guys were there saying, those things. So they just held me slowly.
You had raised your social capital with the bars.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, social capital. Yeah. No, social capital is. Yeah. So they held me majestically, put me in the car, and they drove me to my mom's place. So when I reached home, I was tripping. I'd spent like 2 days
without sleep.
Yeah. You're like, why can't you let me live my life? Huh? You don't want to your hygiene is also a big factor as well. Yeah. And because I had lost interest
from the reality of things.
From the reality, you're detached from reality. Yeah. So I find myself, I get so verbal with my mom, because I'm like, why can't you people let me live my life? Then eventually, I go and I rest it off. So as early as around 11 in the morning, they take me to Butabika Hospital. Meanwhile, I had this conversation with my mom about seeing a psychiatrist. So we go there.
Were you open to the conversation?
Yes, okay. I told her I needed the help, because I also saw myself. I was going. Yeah. So I go. My mom tells me we're going to Butabika. So we get into the car with a policeman and a security guy. We drive. So when I reach there, I reach the duty room, and they call us a clinical psychiatrist to come and write down the things that I've been using. So I remember the first thing they did to me was to tell me to put my hands like this, and they put a paper here to see if there are tremors. Huh? Yeah. So there were some tremors in me. So that means those are signs of alcohol. If someone has shaking, you get. Okay. So those are signs of alcohol. So I told them everything that I use. I told them I use Shisha, I smoke.
And you openly,
because
even in your
admitted because I thought I was going to get the medication and then boom, go back to my life. You get it? As I was doing as an outpatient at Entebbe Lakeview. So I'm still there, and then they drop the news, they drop the bomb and tell me, you're going to be admitted. So for the next 20 minutes, I didn't talk to my mom. I was just shaking my head like this. I'm like, God. And then
you wished you had another mom and that minute.
Yeah, and then I saw my mom counting all this money. About, let me say, it was like, I think like 2 million?
Yeah.
To hand it to the guy. And I was like, really? So they get me, they take me to my room, to my private room. I reach there, they tell me to remove my clothes, so I put on that green uniform. So
the shorts.
Yeah, the shorts and then the green thing.
So
I'm all there seated on my bed like this, like just looking down, seeing how my life has ended. I was like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I remember it was...
Wait, did you have any say by that when they broke the news to you and you just shook your head?
I had no say, obviously.
And then, how did that sink in? Like,
it sank in. And first of all, I had this thought about Butabika being a place of mad people.
Yes, exactly.
You get it?
That never washes away.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, all the times, even when I go to see my friends, and I do extensive research on mental health. My podcast, the most I listen to, are on mental health.
Yeah.
So I am passionate about it. I've had personal incidences with friends and family. So really, I actually have another platform for justice, dedicated for justice. So, but whenever I go to Butabika, I never leave when I'm the same. Like, it shocks me every other time I enter there to either be like, oh my God, this is happening. Yes. This is happening. So yes, it's just having that feeling around you is. Yeah. How did you deal with that now? When you enter, you're still explaining. When
I just entered, then after changing, I sat on my bed. So they give you a caretaker who looks after you in the hospital. He washes for you your clothes.
Yeah.
He lays your bed.
Yeah, that's the private wing. Yeah.
Yeah, the private wing. Yeah. He lays your bed. He just looks after you. He tells you when to go and take medicine. So then they brought me. I remember they brought me milk and grab, but I didn't eat that day. I was still in denial, strong denial. So
what was going on in your mind? Were you thinking about the outside life?
Yeah, I was thinking about what are my friends in court going to think about
me.
Like, what are my workmates going to think? My life has just ended. So in my head, I was like, God. And I was so sad.
Yeah.
So sad. That what helped me that night is, they gave us medicine to help us sleep. So they gave us some pills, tablets, that help you to rest. So I get to sleep that day. I remember I spent 3 days in my room without coming out. I would just go and shower, just pour myself water. And I wouldn't want to talk to anyone. I was isolating myself. So people would walk into my room, like other patients.
Yeah.
You know how to help you, to introduce you into the place and all that. So there was this very special man who was called Nicolas Madra, sorry. He was 59 years old, but he was the first person who I had a conversation with, who I shared my life with when I was there.
How did you get to that point to trust him to share? Had it sunk in now that, okay, now I'm here, I need to talk to someone?
Actually, he came to me.
To you. Okay.
Yeah, he came to me.
All right.
And he talked to me and
He's like a professional.
No. He was a patient. He's also a patient there as well.
Okay.
So he talked to me. So we bonded. So I would share with him my things.
Yeah.
Give him milk. Anything. We started bonding. And the age gap was so big. I was 30 years old and he's about 59.
Yeah. It's like 20.
So, the age gap.
Different.
So we started to move together. So you tell me about how it is in the hospital. So I remember on the 5th of September, we had a session about by Mapenzi Jen. She was a psychologist.
Yeah.
It was about disorders.
What's her name?
Mapenzi Jen. It was about, she was teaching us about disorders, these personality disorders, like opposition defiant disorder, impulsive composition disorder.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was seated in front, and she was talking about my life. Like, you know, opposition defiant disorder is someone who has frequent tantrums. You don't listen to your elders. You just disobedient. And that was the person that I was then. And then this impulsive thing is you're good at telling lies because you want to use a drug.
Very cunning, yes.
You have to find a way to lie so that you can get something. You come up with those stories. So those were disorders. So I remember that day putting up my hand and saying, why are you talking about me? So everyone laughed. So the next day, I enjoyed that session so much. So the next day we had a therapy by Eric Kwehava. A very good therapist, that man. We were learning about types of personalities.
Yeah.
There are sanguines. These sanguines are people who are go-getters. They have that vibe in them. They are chilled. Then we learned about phlegmatics. People who decide to. Phlegmatics are people who are less chilled. They take things serious. They are vulnerable. And then we had also these chronics. Chronics are analytical towards life. They tend to criticize a lot and all that. So I was starting to enjoy these sessions. Like, I was getting to know myself. Then on the next day, was a Wednesday, we had a spiritual awakening sessions. You know, we'd have these sessions from about 10:30 to midday to 12 p.m.
Yeah.
So we had a spiritual session, and they would bring a reverend. It's called Reverend Dismas.
So, are you Christian?
Yes, I'm Anglican.
And practicing?
Yes.
And you believe in God?
I believe in God so much.
All right.
God is amazing.
All right.
So I was in the session, and then I got this conviction in my heart. My heart started to race, telling me to give my life to God at that moment. So I got the conviction, and I gave my life to. He called me and told me to repeat this prayer after him.
The Reverend?
Yeah, the Reverend told me to mention all the people in my life who have hurt me. So I start mentioning names, all these people in my life, all these exes, if I may say, who have also hurt and they have hurt me. And he tells me the only way you can manage this is to learn to forgive others. And because God has also forgiven you as well. So yeah, I find myself, now I'm starting to.
Have you forgiven them?
Yes, I did. I
did they know that you have forgiven them?
Yes, I actually made amends with most of them.
The people.
I actually talk to them now.
Okay.
So I forgive them, and life starts.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel light?
Yeah, you feel so lighthearted after.
All right.
Because now you're free. Imagine if God can forgive you. How about forgiving a fellow human being? You don't carry that burden. Oh, this person did this to me. I can't get over it. No. You have to eventually let go. So I found another passion when I was there. Like, we would play volleyball. Yeah. In the evening.
How long were you here? How many months?
I was there for 3 months.
3 months. All right.
So I found a passion being an umpire. So every time, the day is, how the day goes, you wake up, take porridge. They bring porridge to us.
Yeah.
Then you also have other foods that come from the private canteens. And then I found myself, enjoying the whole exercise thing. I was an umpire. Imagine I didn't even know volleyball, but I just learned how to be an umpire. So every day, the patients would come, would start playing volleyball. Then with time, I had sessions with my psychologist, one-on-one. So I told him about my life and what I've gone through and all that. But just to take you back about the reason why I sort of relapsed was I got into a relationship. I tried to fall in love again.
When is the first time you fell in love?
The first
that was
time
before 2018.
I obviously, like in 2010.
All right.
High school love.
Okay.
Love. So like I sort of.
So all this time, you were not really experiencing what you define as love.
Yeah,
just having relationships.
I love people. Like the thing that I've had so many girlfriends in my life because of the lifestyle that I was living.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. Okay, I made so many mistakes, obviously.
Like any other human being.
Yeah, like any other human being. But the good thing is that I've learned from them.
You're learning from
them.
I'm
learning.
Exactly, it's a journey.
Yeah. So I find myself, after breaking up with one of my exes, I find myself falling in love again with somebody. And then they play me. I get played. And now while I'm with this person, we are using the same drugs, the pills. Meanwhile, I'm investing a lot of money in this person.
Yeah.
And they treat you like shit. Like I would be at the bar for 3 days with this girl, and then she would live with somebody else. Imagine some guy comes and picks her, and that thing is to
piss you off. Like
piss me off, man.
Emotions, really. But also, that's the thing. I personally believe that most of the times, what happens with the drugs and using all these psychedelics is, when they find you locked into a materialistic bit of the world view, where not that money does not matter. Money is easily the most important thing. We need money to survive. But when you get locked into the religion of it, where you're worshipping it, where you don't look at it as a means to an end, and it's literally your ends. What it gets you is like the ends. Let me say it gets you a laptop and you get attached to it, so if some guy steps on your laptop, you can just slap them from there. So the same thing, when you spending money with someone and there's another guy that can comfortably just come and walk out with them, it leaves some type of feeling with you. And when you're using drugs with such emotion, when you've not learned to like control emotions, to that level, to realizing that most of these things are really vanity. You see these cameras? I like cameras. They're fucking expensive. Also, but they're a bit of vanity because one of my closest people in life has ever broken down when I was going through a psychosis issue.
Psychosis. I know psychosis.
Just threw all the cameras down. And because I witnessed this happening, every time I look at these cameras, I'm like,
bring back that memory.
Yeah, like, it can just go. Like, I love them. They're business to me. They feed me. They're feeding my son and stuff. But
awesome. The
fact that someone can just comfortably throw it when even it could happen to me, I could get into another sense, and maybe that's because these distractions, they're all those things, these things trigger. These things trigger. So when you get in a position where you're so attached to the materialistic point of view, you're affected more when you're also using drugs.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
You're affected high time because now you're looking for all possible ways of fighting to help your addiction.
Exactly.
And an addiction is like a disease. It's dependent. It needs to be treated, if I may say.
Yeah.
And these drugs are what you use to treat you. So I now going back to the time when I was in the hospital, I would have these. What helped me there so much is that I discovered myself. I had a self-reflection. My mom would come and see me and tell me, "My son, you're a father, 31 years old." I turned 31 actually in rehab. So my mom would tell me, you're a father. You have a son. Who is going to look after this son if you're to die? So those things like touched me.
Weren't you thinking about these things?
Until when you're using, like I told you, when you're using pills, you're detached from reality. You have no...
Okay, now, let's wind back a little bit. When is the first time you, let's say, took a trip, and how is your experience? I need you to give me an experience of like how you feel when you're using. Do you have an idea of that? Can you explain that?
Yeah, when I started using in 2019 actually. And you know, when you take it, you just get extremely happy. You have this personal happiness, and you're in a vibe. You're asking people, can I get you something to drink? Because you get those sympathy things of empathy in you. You're in a vibe. You can literally buy everyone there around you anything that they want, because remember, you have money on you. So you're in a vibe. You try to call your friends, come and we chill here. So it gives you that happiness, which lasts for about 3 to 6 hours. But eventually, like I said, it goes down, and then you go back to your normal life, and you go back. I would go back into being depressed. So that affected me so much. But when I was in the hospital, I took it like I was on a vacation, because I was away from substances. When we were at the hospital, they would give us theramine. Now theramine mimics the substance that you use. So you swallow it, the theramine, the tablet, and you get as if you're high, but it just mimics the substance that you're using, and it helps to rebuild the body nutrients. So when it's at 1, you feel you're hungry. Breakfast, you feel hungry. But before, it would be, I have to smoke a J to get the munchies, and then eat. Now that was programmed in my head. Always out for smoke a J, then get the munchies. But now I was on theramine, so it helped my body to gain back those nutrients.
Right now, you're completely off everything.
Yeah.
You don't smoke, you don't drink.
I don't smoke weed anymore.
No cigarettes.
I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol.
No shisha.
Even shisha.
No alcohol.
No alcohol.
Water, Fanta.
I just drink Sprite.
Okay. And water.
Water, Fanta. Yeah, such things.
How are you going to manage with that? Because again, addiction is much more of community and friends. Yeah, because again, the friends you've had are still mostly the friends you have. Yeah. And one of the issues is treating an addict like they're a marginalized group.
Yes.
Yeah. Because now, once we suffer addiction, you never get out of it. Yeah, you're forever going to be an addict in recovery. Probably could relapse. Anything can trigger you. Could be even the medicine when you get into like something else. So this is like a journey you're on to for the rest of your life. We've been on to like even us that have not really like got diagnosed, but are functioning addicts are still onto the same journey. Like you can, for me, I'll give you an example. Not like cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes because that time I was dating Hills. I used to just smoke weed. Now, when I was dating Hills, she used to use everything.
Yeah.
So I started smoking cigarettes and then got off cigarettes. But then when I went to the street after, I got back to the cigarettes because I had to get back onto them. Like, there's no way I could survive without smoking.
Yeah.
It was unreal that I was staying up in the night. I didn't have a home. I was homeless and didn't have cigarettes. Then when that all got away, I saw to myself that I still won't smoke cigarettes.
I see.
Until the times when I go to the bar. Yeah. And because, of course, sometimes you don't have access to whatever else you want to smoke and stuff. So there will always be a guy with a cigarette. So the urge, you can fight it and fight it. Okay. But there's just that one day where you might relapse because of the environment.
Now,
so for you, how are you going to do that?
So now this is what happened to me. They did an LRT test for the liver on my body.
Yeah.
So they found my liver was in stage 1. There are 4 stages. And my liver was in that first stage. I had developed, it's called odema. Odema is a sort of a swelling of the leg. So I, like I'd had that conversation with my mom when she told me, who's going to look after your son if you die. So
is that like the turning point?
Yeah, that was the turning point that I had with my mom. When the reality hit in, and your parents looked after you very well. So I had that conversation. So when they told me my liver was damaged and I'm just 31 years old, I was like, you know what? Let me find us. What other solution can they give me? So there is an implant which they introduced. It's been working for 3 years. So I got an implant right here. You can see.
Yeah.
An implant. There are like 2 tablets they do. It's a very 10 minutes procedure.
Okay.
So they sort of pull this part, then they inject the tablets inside. Now this implant just helps to reduce the cravings. But it won't tell you that don't drink, don't smoke. It just kills those urges. So when I was in hospital, they gave me this implant. And I would have the times when I had these urges to smoke, I found myself, I even thought something was happening to me. My body didn't have that urge to smoke or to smoke weed or to drink. And the fact that I had this liver thing in me and my leg had swollen, man, it hit me.
Did you ever feel like you're going to die?
Yeah, obviously I was going to die. By the time you start using cocaine, man, you're literally going to die.
Sometimes some people say that's like the best feeling, when you almost feeling like you're going to die.
Yeah, there are those people actually that's a disorder.
Yeah.
People who suffer from, like, people who take pleasure in killing others. They suffer from those disorders. That's their happiness that they get. So I actually felt like I was going to die, but God gives us second chances. So God definitely has given me so many chances, but this one was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call, Being in rehab, it just helped me to find myself, to now know who the real Matthew is, and not this Matthew who wants to please other people. And, spend on others, buy them this and this. This Matthew who is the Matthew that I knew when I was in high school, the Matthew who was very, very clean. And when you're using substances, you don't care about your hygiene, obviously. You just be there without any care.
You probably think you're smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, you don't want to, actually, my friends would actually talk to me and tell me, Matthew, why don't you go home? Why don't you change? But me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to change. But no, I would do the same things. So going to rehab just helped me so much.
What role do your friends play in this journey?
My friends, their role was to, you might be with someone, but they'll be laughing at you.
The most bits of the people we are. Human beings are really a bigger bunch, hypocritical tendencies. Yeah.
So, you can't even know someone's intentions, but I just felt like they felt sorry for me sometimes. So they would just be with me. And because I'd been with them for years,
they had no option.
And I actually messed up whereby I left my friends who I had been with, and then I joined these other people who are using these other things. So I got a new clique of friends who I was just pleasing, if I may say. Yes, and I left the other people who had started with.
So has this helped you distinguish between who your real friends are?
Yeah, definitely. Because
and acquaintances and people you just mug at the bar, just chill.
To be honest, when I was in rehab, people knew I was there. I can assure you. But no one came to see me. Not even anyone came to see me. So that hit hard.
I'm speaking this because I know how hard it is. Whenever one of my friends he has some bipolar condition going on, but we don't understand what's going on. I don't. He probably does. So one of his biggest battles always, whenever he gets into Butabika, he tells me that only you comes to see me, by the way. You should know. That's why I don't take it lightly. I don't do so much for him, by the way. Like in his life, I'm not like a guy who would call when he needs money. But we always have these conversations. We talk about stuff. We chill a lot when he's around. So, but the depth with which he talks about someone going to visit them when they're that side is extremely intense. That you feel that it means so much.
It means a lot, bro.
Than anything. Yeah.
You know, it means
like not
so
being
much.
left out and connecting and love. Like you can still have love when you know that you are not just attached to people. When you are available, when at your most vulnerable moment, exactly, there's someone who still thinks about you. That's when like there's like true meaning of friendship. Yeah?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. Of course, I can't put a case for anyone, but I'll tell you for a fact. Whenever I kept meeting Herbert, he kept telling me he wants to come see you. I actually forced him that day. Then the next day, I saw you out. I forced him. I told him, "Do you know it's important that you see a friend when they're in hospital?
Yeah,
like it's important. Like at whatever cost, and just." Because I had another friend in hospital, so we're talking about it. I was telling him, I have to go. Like, to me, it's priority. I had to leave the bar, actually. So I was telling him, no, I'm not staying. I'm leaving at 10 because I have this friend I have to see in the morning.
Yeah.
So that. Now, how are you going to deal with community? Now, are you going to cut away, let's say, the bars that could be like triggers, or you feel like you're strapped enough to...
No, right now I have a self-awareness over my body. I can control myself. I'm not gullible anymore. I'm not influenced anymore. I can actually go out, watch football, have juice, have a Sprite, and have a vibe. And then I'll go home. Because now I know the awareness is in my body. Like I don't have those, I don't want to go back that road that I used to be in. Because I've used literally every drug apart from heroin.
Yeah.
And I think I would have used heroin if I had associated myself with people who use heroin. But I have used everything. And you know, that time reaches when you're like, man, enough is enough. You know, you need to style up. You need to do something with your life. You can't.
This is when it reaches when when you can say to yourself enough is enough, but when you can't really get out.
Yes. And that's
How did you get out, by the way? Like for you told me the story. You were helped.
Yeah, I was helped to go there. Family intervention. And how I managed to overcome was I got to know who Matthew is. You know, what sort of person that I am. I learned about things that trigger people to relapse when you're in there. Anger, stress, emotional frustrations. So many others.
How are you now, Omah, to deal with that?
Now, I don't be tripping stupidly. Like, I know small things get to me, but now I can control my emotions. Actually, you know, when you have, like, God in you, if I may say, there is always that other voice that comes and tells, that silent voice that tells you, calm down, be cool, you know, just be calm, Look at the positive side of it all. Don't be pissed or anything like that. And the truth is that I don't blame the people who didn't come to see me because everyone has their issues that are going on. So I don't blame them. I'm not going to cut them off. These are people I've known, but I can control myself right now. You know?
The thing with me asking you about the friendship bits, the times I have all types of friends, by the way. I am it's like a blessing to me. So I can make friends. It's easily like a power I have. And this is because my elder brother was talking to me about it and he was describing all of us at home. So I cling on it so much. But it's also in reality, I notice it a lot. Like it's easier for me to replicate myself. So I have friends that are up to 45 years or 50, but they're genuinely my friends. Like I call them my friends, I can holler at them and probably hit up smoker jails, things like that. I have those who are 20 in all sorts of life, rich, poor, average, and whatnot. So in some circles of my friends, I have people who have told me about their experiences. My friend Martin, once earlier in life, told me, when you go out, never smoke anyone's stuff. Anything.
Yes.
Just don't do it. Like, of course, there are chances of being less and whatnot, but just don't be influenced. You do not know yourself. You don't know. But then I have, for very many times, hanged out with friends, and most cases, the girls. I also have a weakness for females. Like, well, it's the life we live, really. So I have been influenced twice. Not actually twice, more than 6 times to use cocaine. I've used it like 3 times in those 6 times. But this is because, you see, there's when I had a meeting in the morning, but this person wanted to party with me. So they told me that, take these lines. Yes, you're going to stay awake. Tomorrow morning you're going to be kawa. And it happened. Yes. But then I got scared. I was like, no. My body can't really run, autopilot like that without me having a grip to it, And maybe the powers that be saved me from like getting hooked and stuff. But just that. Yeah. The willingness to just say, let me just do it for you, like you, because that friend is around you. Yeah. How are you ready for that? Because it could just be one happy day. It could be a woman, like Samson in the Bible.
Yes, like Samson. Exactly. Yes, I know about the story of Samson. Yeah. But now, having reflected on my life,
Have you had a near-death experience with drugs? Where they have taken you down that road?
That road, yes. I almost crashed the car sometime when I was so high. I actually knocked some border guy, so forgive me, but because I was messed up, I almost. But then I survived that accident. And when you go through an accident, you reflect. So for me, it was all about personal reflection. Like I told you, when I was in rehab, it was just getting to know who I am. Who is this Matthew? That Matthew that I used to know, not this one who is easily influenced by other people. You want to please people. People don't care out there, So
everyone is on their own.
Even
twins never come out.
Yeah. Everyone is on their own. So for me now, what's helping me is that life is now making so much sense to me, I decided to stay with my son, be with him. I wake up in the morning so early. I prepare him for school. I take him to school. I also have the responsibility of picking him at 4 p.m. So now, life has started meaning so much meaning to me as opposed to then. Because, the mother of my child used to tell me, life is not all about just taking pictures and then you think you're parenting. Because I'd always ask, hey, send me pictures. No, that's not life. But now, I love my son so much. He's so intelligent. Like, he's just like me when I was young, He's so full of life. He's such a sweet person to be with.
And that is enough reason for you.
Yeah, enough reason.
Want more from life, yeah?
Yeah, to have life. And actually, being sober has helped me now. I have a clear goal now in my life. I have things that I want to achieve as well in my life. So, I don't...
So, you see, there are 2 things, yeah? I don't respect the notion that drugs or use of drugs is entirely bad.
Yes.
Yeah?
But misusing them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because like you said, like we're going through the time you were diagnosed with depression.
Yes.
These things helped you cope.
Yeah,
and that was not entirely a bad thing. Because maybe the worst could have happened with depression, but then you had something to hang on to. So I believe the opposite of addiction, is not being sober.
Yes.
The opposite of addiction is connecting more to things that make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, to you. Things like more love, things that make sense. That.
Yes.
To connect more to your people, to the people you love. Now, like a stronger relationship. One of the things I had to struggle with the most is I grew up seeing my dad raise us as a family.
Yeah.
And to me, that made the most sense in life. Like, I knew that a man has to have their wife and then bring up their children. Now, I tried to replicate that quite early.
Yeah.
Now, when that failed, dealing with that was so hard. Yeah, like it detached me from so many things. I lost jobs, even those that I could take. I just wasted my life in that time because of just the fear of this is not happening. This is not it now. I do not have family and everything is fucked up. So But even when I use the marijuana, because I still smoke my weed, but I know that I've had family issues. I know I have friends, a chunk lot of them. I'm in and out of Butabika most of the time, but it's not really about the weed. These guys use other things up to heroin, yeah. But I know for a fact that if we connect more with the people, with the things that are there, forgive more people like you, yeah, you can actually handle all these things like alcohol. You skip the stage where you're now misusing them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I was going to tell you. Like, the thing is, alcohol has effects it does to the body, yeah? We all know that.
Yeah.
But now, when you misuse it and then you abuse it, that's when things get out of hand. You get, now for me, I was abusing alcohol. I wasn't controlling my drinking.
Yeah.
You get, you're not controlling yourself. You don't have any control over yourself because obviously the devil has taken over your life, and he wants to just destroy you literally. You get, the ambitions you had when you were young, nothing makes sense anymore. Makes sense anymore. So there are people who actually have no problem with anyone who drinks, or who does their thing.
So are you going to switch up in like environments, adopt?
No, actually, what I've started to do now is I've replaced my, like, that when I'd be going to the bar, and now I've started to do some gymming, you know. I go to the farm. I like to travel nowadays. I go to the village, you know, just to keep my mind busy. And I'm so grateful to have parents who are very supportive, you know, and a family, you know. Yeah, eventually everyone gets away from you. Everyone sways away from life, but if you can come back.
Now, when you talk of family, because part of recovering is mostly in bits of social recovery, how is family besides the closest, like mommy?
Yes.
Mommy has to always be there, probably, even when she has no option. She's mom. The closest, like, let's say a housemaid. How do they treat the fact that you have been in Butabika? Don't they see you as a mad person? Isn't that an issue? Does that get to you? Things like that. Like aunties, aunties' children. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the thing about Butabika Hospital, like I said, is the stigma around it. It's too much. It's too much. Everyone who goes there thinks, you know, you're run mad. But actually, since it has different units, you know, it has alcohol and drug unit. It has the private mental illness side.
Yeah.
It has the female convalescent. People are struggling with different things. Now, I remember the day I took a walk around the hospital. I went back to my room and I knelt down and I prayed to God and said, thank you. Because now, for the way I was, we were just being stupid, literally, you know. The other people have real issues, you know. Like someone is born genetically, mentally ill. You get it?
Yes.
Or I remember there was this.
They have all these chronic illnesses.
Yeah, chronic illness. Yeah. I remember there was this lady who I saw. She was carrying her baby with her, an invisible baby. You get it? Because I was told she lost her child when she was
just given birth, probably.
And now she moves around with this invisible baby, this whole time. That is that. Now, to handle somebody like that, it's not so easy. So, you know, you walk around, you find people young, and the thing is that the biggest percentage of people in Butabika are the youth. And you know, you move around, you find some people tied on the fences because they have to be tied. They'll end up eating grass or something. They be there, they are shaking. You know, it's actually. That whole reflection makes you be like, thank you, God. Thank you so much, God, for helping me, like to be able to, you know,
not to be in this position.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm saying it's the worst. It's the worst, but I'm just saying, in my opinion,
because it happens to everyone. Like it can happen to everyone. Yeah, but probably you can skip it.
So it helped me to understand that, you know, Matthew, you just this alcohol, you can live it. You know, this marijuana, you can live it, and you can live a happy life. I'm actually so happy these days. And
can you explain it, the difference? Can you like give an explanation of how your life was, let's say, in 2018, before you get into hospital? Yeah. But you are a happier person also. I was going to get you to that fact, to the music, to the point of the music, of what you listen to, of now what you consume in terms of content, what your mind consumes, and how it affects us. Like, see, I've known you for being an Afrobeats fan, all this time, and part of this, because what Wiz is going to sing about is he's going to have a collab with MT and
yes, I know
about talk about Kush, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time they're going to talk about bottles and popping. Yeah. We grew up the time we were in school, in high school, we're listening to all this hip hop music, and all this is the message it carried.
It carries, yes.
Do you feel like this is almost one of the biggest issues we suffer? This is like how we get clean, because that defines our version of cool. Then we get out to like time we get to campus where we have like some control of our lives. Yeah, we make decisions. We're not curtailed to curfew. You want to chase such illusions.
Yes,
I want to be a Wayne. I want to be like a Wizkid. Like, you don't have the money Wiz has, but you can replicate his lifestyle in your standard. Do you feel like that's an issue of what we consume?
Obviously.
And now you as a father, do you feel like, of course you cannot curtail your child from stuff, but in terms of how you have these conversations with them, do you feel like this is something you should address, like what you consume the music to?
Yeah, obviously the music sends a big message out there to you personally. I'm a very big Wizkid fan, but nowadays I just listen to the music. I do not do what the music does. Like, those days I would listen to the music, you're smoking, then obviously you also want to smoke.
Yeah, and then you also smoking, and it's a vibe. Right?
It's
like
a
the music
vibe,
really makes sense.
You're
forgetting it's the same vibe you're living.
This man is out there living his life.
When he gets a psychosis issue, he's probably taken away to an island.
Actually, for him, he's comfortable living his life. Now, for you trying to live his life, that is where the problem comes. You're trying to tweet his lyrics, or you're trying to be life. Now, that's the thing about self-discovery. You find yourself finding who you are. You get to know who yourself is, and not trying to be like somebody else. You get. So I still listen to the music, but I'm not attached to it that much anymore. You get
you now see where it is an issue. You understand. Like, you listen to the beats and the vibe, and you just
be. You can listen. It's fun. It's okay. But now you're not attached to it. Like the things he says in his songs, you don't be attached to it. There's this song by Omah Lay called "I'm a Mess."
I'm a Mess. Yeah.
Now that song I had literally got into my head. That's why he says, I like to have company on my own. My life is so messed up. I prefer to have company. Some stuff like that. So the universe, the universe, it rails what you speak. Yeah. So you find yourself saying, "I'm a mess." Your whole life you're a mess. You're a mess. You're going to be, your brain is indebted to believe in that. So you find yourself in actual life you're a mess. But if you just listen, just give it a deaf ear, you can't avoid this music. It will always be there. And this guy is also trying to survive in the world.
Definitely.
Everyone is trying to survive.
The first step is to understand that there's human beings,
all of us. Now, in terms of solutions, for you as an addict in recovery, with regards to the society and how you understand it, what do you think can work? Because you said you went to Butabika and you saw the biggest number of people in there,
the youth. Yes.
Yeah. So what could you tell to like a youth listening to this, and like from a more realistic perspective that or maybe to the powers, this is like a really big thing. We need to how the leadership addresses and criminalizes. I'll tell you now, like for an example, you see in around 2000, Portugal had the biggest number of drug abuse and alcohol abuse cases. It had almost like 1% of their population just addicted to heroin.
Yes.
That is 1%. Let's say if they have 10 people, one in every 10 people, one person has an addiction to heroin. And that was too much. They had all these cannabis addicts and all these things. So they had done all these things people do. Get them, because of course it's an addict who is going to be triggered to like go steal most of the chances, all those the attachment to the bad behavior. So what the government then did was to stop decriminalizing.
I get.
the use of these drugs, and then using the money they have been using to criminalize them, because it comes with a lot of arrests and whatnot, and no facility centers, and using that money to actually make, you see how people need like therapy sessions, maybe more accessible places they can talk to when they're going through, to like just do that. Yeah, and that helped greatly to reduce like drug addiction. Yeah, because people most of the times, and to me this is firsthand, because again I had a session where I was living on the street, I was literally homeless, so I was relating to a lot of homeless children. Now to that and what they were saying, and when you talk to a child and the reasons they give you as to why they're home, you really look at it like, oh my God, I wish you had someone you could talk to. Your issue would have been solved by maybe an uncle, maybe an auntie, if they were open-minded. Like, you have no reason of being here, really. In all honesty, refusing to wash some 2 plates cannot take you out from your home. You have... So things like that. When they did that and they focused more of sessions, awareness, talking, and not making it an issue. Because, you know, the saddest bit is the people in Butabika, as human as anyone, you'll find a guy who has been a doctor, a guy who has
they're actually checking themselves. There are some people checking themselves.
There's so much of that.
Yeah, and they...
So that, for you, okay, that was like an example I borrowed from Portugal and how they did in the 2000s. For you, with your experience, what do you think can be, what things do you think can be solutions?
Okay, one, it's very sad and unfortunate, like the biggest percentage of our budget, about 1% goes into mental health. And you know, mental health is something very, very important.
Yeah.
In Uganda, we're at number 6.
Yeah.
Because these are things I was reading when I was there. We're at number 6 in terms of mental health. People are going through so many things. And they're like, but they decide to keep...
And we're poor economy, really.
So obviously.
That's like a bigger
driver. And the whole COVID situation that happened, it really broke down so many businesses. But now, good enough, the government has started to give an ear. And they have started they want to introduce mental health in the primary schools, in the secondary schools, and the university. You get? So that this mental health is so important, you know, just like any other, you know, the brain is very, very important. And just like any other part of the brain, of the body, the brain also gets sick. So if you do not address that, then you're going to find yourself, you know, falling. People, you know, it's like saying, like, you have a child. If you do not, when he's young, and he's that child who is always at parties, he's disturbing, he's touching so and so and so, like bugging everyone, and he's throwing tantrums. Trust me, when that child reaches about 25 years, he'll be in an office, and he'll throw a tantrum and he'll probably lose his job. But as parents, what we need to do is to sort of raise our children in a manner that is proper. You get? Like, if you must beat this child, beat them. Don't just say, my child is like that. That's how he's raised. No, he's not raised like that.
There has to be like a mechanism.
There has to be like a mechanism to help him.
Okay.
And to help him understand that, you know, for example, if you have like 3 kids and it's their birthday, you don't have to give it's one of the kids' birthday. You don't have to give all of them presents. You have to help them to learn to...
Do you feel like part of why maybe you, at some point in life, ended up in such a situation is because you grow up with thinking, again, it could be right or not, and this is... I grew up thinking my dad was rich until I realized he wasn't. But because he could afford to take me to a good school, I thought that is the standard of rich. But until I actually realized, when I grew up, I realized he was making a shitload of sacrifices for me to be in some situation. So there's that. Did you maybe think you have so much privilege with life that you...
yes, exactly.
That you can just
thank you.
Get out of stuff?
The thing is, I was born in 1991. I'm practically a 7-year kid. You know, and for me, when I was born, everything was there. I found when my parents were literally, they could afford everything. Stuff. I went to the best schools. I was in Lohana. I went to Aga Khan. Then I went to Macquarie College. Then eventually the university. But, you know, to think about it now, I actually took all that for granted. My brothers and my sisters who went through hardships, when they were growing up, they are so successful right now. They are big people, and they are living life happily, regardless of like
what
any
they're
other.
going through, But I feel like you're a baby on a silver
Yeah,
plate.
no,
like
me, I was the last born.
Yeah.
I came in a time when life Uganda was starting to
Catch up.
Yeah, life was good. For me, I was driven to school when I was a kid. My siblings had to walk miles and miles. So I had so much. Like I had that thing in me that everything is there. As a kid, you have everything is there. So that's what's happening now these days. I tell you, with these new parents that we have, this new generation, they tend to give their kids literally everything.
So much.
And you know what you need
They
to
give
do?
them their reality.
Yeah.
What happens with now's parenting is a parent forgets that a child is a child.
Yes.
So what they do is, if a parent survives off a budget of let's say 30,000 in a day, he'll try and give the child 20, half of that. But this is a child. This is not your expense at your level. Yeah, you have no business giving a child 700,000 pocket money. They have all this extra cash at them. So you're giving them so much leverage to experiment a lot of things from the world and not put and attach value to really working hard and reward effort. Because the child can, if their pocket money is around a meal at campus, then people who have jobs are getting 800,000. It doesn't make sense to them. So they have all this luxury too. How does this inform your parenting now that you're a father?
And now you see the fact that I am aware of this whole parenting thing so well. I now know how to budget. Like I won't be in debt because I'm trying to impress my child or trying to compete with another family. You get it? I will, you have to teach your child how to survive for tomorrow, for the future. But if you give them everything,
they relapse. They become reluctant.
They will become reluctant towards life. Everything to be easygoing. Because there are situations whereby, for example, you have kids. Let's say you don't have swings at your home, you don't have a sand pit, but then your friend has that stuff. Yeah, it's okay. Like you can send your children out there to enjoy it, have fun, but do not try to prove to others, because when you prove to others, no one cares about proving. You're going to be in debts, or that's also that you have to take your kids to the best schools ever. You're going to live a life of debt.
Also, don't you think our culture in some structure has to change? Look, from June to now, there's been every other week. Yeah. If it's not weekend, the other weekend, there's been an international artist drop in the country. Yes. This means people are going to pop bottles. This means people are going to drink. There's something happening in Uganda every day. Yeah. There's a theme night in a popular bar, and you'll find it full every single day. What do you think of this culture? But, however, people have been drinking for times and times. Yeah. Do you feel like that's the issue, or just the awareness of people knowing what they should know? Do you feel like there should be some regulation on the happenings? Yeah,
I definitely think there should be some regulation. Like in other developed countries, you can't drink until, let me say, the bars can't be open from 24/7. They will have to have a time when they open and when they close. But in Uganda here, we have that liberty. We are peaceful. You get? We have that peace, so people don't mind about any other. They just be having the fun. It's all about the vibe. But if we can regulate, the times when the bar is opened, have these provisions of like a certain category, the age group, you understand? And everything goes down to as an individual, obviously, and how the person is raised. If you're raised around seeing your parents drinking alcohol, you may actually find yourself drinking as well.
Do you feel like we have enough access to sobriety assistance? People trying to get, and also in terms of access, I mean, back to pricing, this medical help.
Yes.
Do you feel it? Also, I need you to take me through your experience in Butabika.
Yeah.
The access and also the possibility of this thing. people have this whole belief that Butabika is the worst place you can be.
Yeah.
And this is just not about the stigma and what people think of. But even there, the people some of them that have been there keep saying that maybe has given a diagnosis wrongly, people don't care.
No. For me, when I was there,
Okay.
from personal experience, people, the thing is that some people are forced to go there without their consent.
Yeah.
Others take
You were
themselves
one of
there.
those people.
Yes, I was. Because I was also forced to go there, but I actually, with when you realize it, you actually thank God that I went through that experience.
That help. Yeah.
That help that I needed. And I even thank the government of Uganda for having put there such a hospital to help their citizens who are suffering from different things. So my experience there it gave me that reality check, like I told you before, to stay on the track, because like I said, when you backslide from your lifestyle, what you are doing, you tend to go off track. But being there, you have these therapy sessions that you go through.
Yeah.
You're actually being treated depending on what you're diagnosed with, and you come out when you're better. And they would always tell us that even when you relapse, take yourself back. Let it not be them to look for you around. People are about to relapse. It depends on the level of how you are. But me, the most important thing which has happened to me right now has been God. I have started to see what God is doing in my life, If I
How do you explain? How do you understand God?
God is kind. God is love. God is amazing. He forgives.
So to you, it's faith and hope.
I have so much hope and faith.
Okay.
Because I believe I would be dead by now. But God gave me another chance to live. And so what I decided to do, I've formed myself joining a worship harvest. I have taken on some responsibilities of photography. I've also had a passionate about photography. So I have now, I'm involved in the church as well. So that it has made me closer to God. And the truth is, when you're with God, your life, you go through a straight life. The enemy is there, the devil will be there to try and, but
tempt
now
you.
To tempt you and all that. But you have the Holy Spirit in you, and you can be able to say, I know this thing. Having gone through it, I can handle this now.
Yeah.
That awareness that I told you is what helps me a lot. And being able to pray, you wake up in the morning, you pray to God, you say, God, thank you so much for the gift of life. There are so many people out there who would be dead now, but you've given me this opportunity, another chance. You get.
So you're grateful.
I'm
in terms
very,
your gratitude
very grateful.
has increased greatly. You understand what it means not to have your life. Do you feel like you have purpose now?
I have so much purpose. Life means so much to me now. Because at first I'd given up on life.
Yeah.
But now life has so much meaning. I've got that happiness again. And when I was in hospital, we formed a new group called A New Perspective by our friend. She's called Pear. So this New Perspective group just helps recovering patients. It's like a social support group to help recovering patients to overcome addictions. Someone can be there and they're thinking about drinking, but you just call them and be like, yo, how are you doing? How are you checking? You check on people. So this New Perspective group, remember, would even have skits on drama, creating hope in new recovery. And it just changed my whole attitude towards life now. I'm very enthusiastic. I'm very positive towards life. Like, there is nothing that can take me back that road again, because I've been there. It was hell, and I do not want to go through that.
And you don't wish anyone else
I never wish for anyone to ever go through what I went through. Because it was so bad. I went when I was 55 kilograms when I was still, when I left the hospital, I was 74. I had put on weight because now you start to love yourself.
Your mind.
Yeah, your mind, you love yourself.
You feel like you have a fresh start with life. Yeah,
a new fresh start to life. And, you can't love others without loving yourself.
That's true.
Those days, I wouldn't care about my hygiene.
Now it matters.
Now my hygiene is my happiness. Now I'm very, very, I actually have OCD. I'm someone who likes to be organized. Like, I keep my things here, I keep my shoes in this sort of way. I like my shirts folded in this way. It's a disorder, but that's what it's obsessive compulsive disorder. But I've brought back the Matthew that I knew in high school, who I remember when I was in high school.
You're the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
you feel like you want to build on that.
I would shower like 3 times in high school. Imagine, I was so clean. I was very smart.
You're now more present in your life.
Yeah,
like you are. Yeah, you feel like that's what you have achieved.
Yeah,
the presence.
Yes.
Because that's also the other thing we fight with, not just being present. Like, all we have, the host bodies are around and you're seated there, but you're in some other spectrum of life, and where your mind is or what your fantasies are weird. Yeah. But the drugs are not only the addictions people deal with. Do you feel, are you dealing with any of these other things? Maybe social media addiction?
Those addictions, people go through those addictions of social media.
Yeah, in this time with the drugs, were you also
actually what I did, this is what I did.
Is it just women? Was there a porn?
For me, no. I sort of, my IG, I deleted all my pictures because I was depressed. Yeah. Actually, now I just have one picture there now. But now I'm going to be posting, like, just to show that, like, it's for myself. I'm happy now, I'm in a much better place. But then I wouldn't tweet. I wouldn't, talk about anything. I isolated myself from everyone. And that's a very bad thing. When you isolate yourself, you're just going to fall.
Are there people you're scared of that if you meet them, they could bring back old memories of?
No. I don't have. And that's why I told you.
Forgiveness. I
have forgiven people because even me, I've been forgiven. You get? So it's a level of maturity. It's all about maturity now. I can hang with my friends, but actually my friends are even happier now that I don't drink alcohol, because they had seen how I'd become a nuisance. I be with them, we watch football. I take like I said, I drink my Sprite. I watch football. Go home. And that's it. Like, I don't have those, because I have gone through it. That whole thing of drinking, and I've been there. So I do not want to go back there again. I do not want to go into that life where I was sad, depressed. I just want to be a happy person and focus on my child.
Why have you wanted to share your story?
I want to share this story because, there are a lot of people going through different things in life. Traumas, past mistakes, disappointments, depressions, bipolar. And I just wanted to help them know that you can actually be helped. Don't just sit there and, suffer with something. Get help. Go out there. There are rehabilitation centers that can help you to become a better person for yourself and for the future. And I have now become so passionate about mental health that I have started doing some courses on mental health. I want to become an advocate because I believe.
I have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's on pause right now. It's called the Mindspace Podcast.
Yes, you told me about it.
Yeah, now, I'm talking to a friend of mine, he's called Eddie. He wants to have conversations, but this is a platform, something I can give to you. If you need to record these conversations or have friends you want to have them, you can use that platform. And we put up the content. We can always come up with a plan and see. Yeah, so, I'm also contributing to that because, again, like I told you, I have a lot of my friends and family dealing with few mental illness issues. And I hope they get through them. And I hope myself I can be the good Lord.
Yes, you're doing so much, man.
So, that.
This is good. This is amazing.
So what legacy are you trying to leave behind?
How
do you imagine your legacy? Like for you now that you've seen some of these things, you've had near-death experiences.
Yeah. You know how some, I'm sorry to say this, but some burials, you go to a burial and then you find people pouring alcohol in the coffin. You get, what sort of legacy is that? How do you want people to remember you when you die? You want to be remembered.
That's actually the perfect question.
Yeah. How do you want to be remembered when you die?
Yeah.
You want to be remembered by someone who was first and foremost, you're God-fearing. You're a person who loves God.
Yeah.
You're able to help others. You take care of your family. You take care of the friends that you have. You don't want to be there and then they say, this one died of alcohol, because God brought us onto this earth to have a purposeful life. And there's somewhere I read that death is not the biggest tragedy, but to live a life without purpose is. Yeah, so if you... And it's so crazy these days how, everyone is in this turn up situation.
Yeah, to
simbu divanaki. That's why people be drinking like crazy. Like you must finish the whole bottle of the whiskey. Yet, actually, since you can just have just a few. That's why I was telling you that misuse, the abusing part of it all, and you become crazy. And you see also, if you continue like if you're a drunkard and you start drinking, you can also end up and you nezivako.
A lot. Let me tell you, stats and numbers. The drugs. Also, thank God you bring that conversation. Also, people belong to different spectrums. Yeah. Realizing your spectrum could be hard, but if you know the better, so you can control. But what the drugs and the psychedelics and all this alcohol does most of the time is to trigger some of these psychosis issues. So if you do not know on which spectrum you belong to, the fastest way you could take a trip. Just some people have been smoking. I've been smoking marijuana from I think like S3.
I get.
Yeah, been functioning. Of course, not like heavily, but I've known about it from yesterday. I think when I was still in high school, I used other things. Then I got off them. They didn't make sense. Then campus comes, the fast life comes. Again, a big chunk of my dad's lifestyle influenced why I did not get to the alcohol. Yes. So because to him, he was really a church guy. I didn't ever see him drink or drunk, and used to have these conversations about people who drink. So that helped me in a sense that, because most of us idolize our fathers. Yeah?
Yes.
So that came into that sense. But that if people not realizing where they fall and then they use all these things, and then they get into issues, is a problem. Then also our environment.
Yes, the environment can trigger.
We have so many people who are unemployed, so they do not have what to do with their time. Yeah, and when you don't have what to do with your time, you want to escape from your mind.
From the reality,
exactly. That. So maybe again, to the leadership, this is like a big cause. It goes up to creating more jobs for people.
Yes.
People's education must make sense. People get degrees and then they sit down. So of course they have to use the drugs because they're like escapes. From all this
temporary escape.
Exactly. Yeah. So man, this has really, really been good. This has one of the stories I've had where we've talked about this on like an open case.
Yeah.
To me, it's energetic. I know people would like it, and I also know that it will help someone.
Yes, because to be able to share your story is a way of recovery. Yeah. And you're helping so many people out there who
to listen and relate.
Yeah, you can relate to like what someone has gone through, and you can know you can overcome. You can overcome this addiction that you're going through. You don't have to be there and be like, I will overcome this problem. You can actually overcome. And when having overcome these things, I just find myself so happy. I have this energy in me that I didn't have for quite a very long time. I have this energy.
You like the feeling. Now you're working out.
Yeah,
like routine.
You just replace the things.
Do you feel like, did you have routine then? Or are you now coming that way then? Did you have things like, I wake up in the morning and do these things?
No, I didn't.
The day was just there. Like
for me, it was alcohol, literally. You know, you do your things in the morning, then in the evening, you're going to pop a pill, take alcohol. That is literally what I would be doing. But now, you know, you have to have a goal. You make short-term goals and long-term goals, the things that you want to achieve. And, you know, life makes so much sense.
In terms of content, what are you reading? Are you a fan of reading?
Yes, I love to read Joel Osteen.
Yeah, okay.
I've been reading his books. Then I've also been reading this book by Mugara Benon, Unlikely.
Guess what? I think it's a son on the podcast. Yeah, but I've heard about his story.
Yeah. He heard about his story. Yeah. How he came from literally nothing. But he has managed to inspire. And it's all about just having one person change.
Yeah, I also like his YouTube channel.
If you can change one person, you can change another.
Definitely, change is gradual like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so man, that's it. Thank you again for coming on the podcast. You should, anytime you feel like you need to come back, do some
and I have
space is open.
Thank you so much. Friends, and I have some friends of mine who want to also share their stories.
Definitely.
Who were in,
so we'll share this, they see this, then they can come on board. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, thank you.